SOSG, 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 standing on solid ground. Hello, this is Kim with Standing on Solid Ground. I am your host of this motivational and inspirational podcast. And today I want to talk about the brick wall. Have you ever said in your life at one time or another, or someone has said to you, it's like talking to a brick wall? It's like talking to a wall that you can't break through. Well, there are times where we have come into contact with someone that we can't get through, or in reverse, they can't get through to us. Our heads are so hard that we won't listen. And I've experienced that twice this week, where someone just will not listen. I don't care how many times I've said it. I don't care how many times I try to talk about it, or how many times I try to get them to understand what it is that I'm trying to get through to them. But that wall gets harder and harder and harder to get through. And I said, God, what can I do? What can be done to get this corrected? And he said, pray. Just continue to pray. It doesn't matter who it is, or what you're trying to say, or why you're trying to say it. Continue to pray. And then he took me back to Joshua and the wall of Jericho. And that wall was enormous. And God told them, or instructed Joshua to say to the children of Israel, this is what I need for you to do. For 6 days, I need for you to walk around that wall one time. And then on the 7th day, I need for you to walk around that wall 7 times. And then after you have walked around that wall 7 times, to blow the trumps, and the wall will come tumbling down. And this is telling me, Kim, you can't break down that wall, but I can. But only if I allow it to go down. Sometimes people have to learn how to live their life their way. That when they run into those stumbling blocks, meaning when they remember what you told them a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, 5 years ago, that those stumbling blocks will get in their way, because everything that you told them is going to come to pass. And he said, didn't some of the words that your parents told you come to pass? And I'm like, yes, they did. He said, they're no different. The only thing that can be different from you being told and them being told is that they ignore it or don't acknowledge it. But at some point, I had to acknowledge that my parents was right and I was wrong. That they tried to warn me and I didn't take heed. That I didn't listen. That my head was hard. I have struggled with these individuals for quite some time, trying to explain to them my point of view as to why they should or should not do something. They fought me every step of the way. Every step of the way. Now, an issue came up where I had explained that we need to get some tires for a car, for one of the vehicles that I have. And, because the tread was really bad. And when they explained to me that they hit a sheet of ice and that the car fishtailed, I said, definitely tires is needed for this vehicle. And I explained to them, let me purchase the tires for the vehicle so this problem would not happen. Well, they decided to tell me that they are wanting to buy other parts for the car. The tires can wait. Well, what ended up happening? One of the tires blew. Now, I wanted to get these tires for this car a month ago. The tire blew last week. So guess what? Tires needed to be purchased. And I beat myself in the head all the time and ask, why can I not get through to them? And I'm sorry if I'm getting tongue-tied because it bothered me. It still troubles me. Why is it that I cannot get through to them? And God said, because you're talking to a brick wall. That no matter what you say, it's not going to get through because they're determined to do things their way. It doesn't matter if you're right. It doesn't matter if you're wrong. If you're wrong, they're going to point it out to you. But if they're right, they're never going to acknowledge it because you could have prohibited this from happening. But they drug their feet because they didn't want to do it your way. They wanted to do it their way. And as a result, they ended up having a tire blowout. Then I have another situation where I'm explaining. If a man loves you and you're good enough to lay up with this man, or he's good enough to lay up with you, I feel like that he should marry you. I've been down this road. And I don't like when I look back on my life and I look back on everything that I did. What kind of example or what was I displaying to other people? What kind of person I was? I can tell them that I'm the sweetest person. I'm the kindest person. I am the most loving person. But what I was doing was contrary to what I could say. Although later on down the line, they did find out that I was a good person. That I was a very nice person. I just did dumb things. And I keep trying to explain to this person and keep trying to explain. You are much more than that. You are much, much better than this. If a man is willing to lay with you, then he should be willing to marry you. Now, being engaged is one thing. Being married is something totally different. Because that engagement is a promise. It is showing the person that I have good intentions on marrying you. That I feel like that you are the best thing in my life and I want to spend my life with you. But times change. People change. And if he really wanted to be with you, 2.5 years of engagement is fine if you were planning a wedding. But you're not even planning a wedding. You guys are trying to get yourselves out of debt. You guys are trying to establish something. The engagement, you see each other maybe once or twice or 3 times in a month. This is not telling you something. It's not showing you anything. And I struggle with it. I really do. I struggle with this because I see destruction in their path. But they're determined to do whatever it is that they want to do. And it bothers me. It hurts me. Because I already know what the road is going to be like for this person. I already know. Because I was once in their shoes. And although they may not have any children right now, God could reverse that on them and say, I don't want to give you any children. And then what kind of hardship would that have been? I mean, God can allow certain things to happen to get your attention. And there have been so many red flags going up in this situation, but they don't want to take heed to it. I see the red flags myself, but I guess it's easier for a person that's standing on the outside of the household looking through the window. It's easier for them to see what's going on than the person that's in the situation. And that includes myself as well. I cannot be a judge to anybody until I take a self-examination of myself. And I'm talking too fast because I'm a little upset. And I'm trying to calm down so I can speak. That brick wall, it is so hard and sturdy that I want to pull myself out of the situations with both parties. I don't want to be available to them in a way where advice I don't want to give anymore. I don't want to tell them what I see because they don't want to hear what I have to say. That the only thing that I can do is pray for them and ask God to have mercy upon their souls, to plead with God for them. And that is the best that I can do right now. I can tarry and I can toil and pray for them. But I don't want to be in the center of that trauma because it is so overwhelming for me. It is so disheartening to me because, you know, they say wide is the path. You know, the straight is the way, wide is the path, or broad, and destruction is at the end. I already know where they're heading. And the more and more and more that I try to explain to them, if you don't get yourself together, your path is just more and more and more destructive to you. You're deteriorating by the day. That instead of losing a day when you live, you might be losing 5 days of your life in one day because of your sinning and because of your stiff necks, in which God have called the children of Israel stiff neck. You are bound and determined to not move. You're only wanting to do things your way. When I did it, I was trying to prove my parents wrong. I'm just going to admit to you. I was trying to prove my parents wrong. But the problem is, I couldn't prove them wrong. Why? Because they already lived their life. They already been in my shoes. I'm trying to tread and walk the straight and narrow. I'm trying to walk in the path of righteousness for God's name's sake. That was what I was trying to do. That is what I'm doing now. But every time you live and God show you mercy to see a new day, and you continue to sin in that day, that should be one day that you should lose. But God can compound it and make it 5 days. He can make it 7 days. He can make it 10 days of your life that is taken away from you. That instead of you dying at one age, God can shorten your days on this earth. I want to live the life that God had purpose for my life to live. Now, I'm not going to say that the sins that I've done way back when did not take away some days. But God can also restore days back into you. If you look at one of the prophets, that God gave him 15 more years or 12 more years of his life. That God had sent a prophet, or he had sent to him an angel and told him, your life or days is required of you. Your soul is required. And he cried to the wall. And God heard his cry. And then he sent a prophet to him and told him, go tell him, I'm going to give him some more time. I'm going to give him a few more years. God can restore life back to you as well. I don't believe that God just do things for one person and not do it for someone else. Now, he blesses who he wills, yes. But I don't believe that he can't do it in today's time. I don't believe that. I believe that what God did way back when, he can do even in today's time. That if I lost, let's just say for the sins that I've committed, I lost 2 or 3 months. I believe that God can restore that back to me. Now, he may not take away the aches and pains, but he will allow me to tolerate them. He may not take away some of the discomforts of getting older, but he may make it a little bit more easier for me to deal with. I don't want that brick wall to be so high and to be so thick that your own brick wall will stop your life. Because brick by brick, every time a person has a hard head, God is stacking those bricks against you. And I even seen where God had stated in several different passages, kicking against the brick or pissing against the wall. I've seen this. And a lot of times I did not understand it, and God is opening up my understanding a little bit more and a little bit more. I don't have a full understanding, but I'm getting an idea. Because we create our own walls. And every time we sin, we build against ourselves. And it gets higher and higher and thicker, that we can't even break through our own wall. Our own brick walls will stop us. will stop us in our track. That when we run into it, we can't go anywhere. I don't want a brick wall to stop me. You know that roadblock that I talked about? I don't want that roadblock in my way. I want to keep walking forward in Christ. I don't want my own brick wall to stop me from going where I need to be. And I believe that these individuals have created a brick wall that one day is going to be too big, too tall, and too thick, that they can't get around it, they can't get over it, and they can't get through it. That either one or two things are going to happen. Either they're going to kneel on their knees and ask for forgiveness, or they're going to die there. That's the only options that they have. But they can't go any further because God is not going to continue to condone their sin or allow them to continue to sin, and they continue to reap the benefits of a good life. That He's not going to continue to do. Don't build up your own brick walls against yourself, because that brick wall can stop your very life. This is Kim with Standing on Solid Ground. You have yourself a wonderful and blessed day.